Alright, just making a quick video doing like an extended real-world test of this Goal Zero Yeti 1000 core, the inverter, just to kind of see not only the efficiency of the inverter, but to kind of see like what I like to call the overhead of the inverter and see how much overhead it has. And basically that's just like how much power is the inverter itself using, which is not necessarily the same thing as efficiency. Efficiency is more like the amount of power going into the inverter versus the amount coming out. But the overhead is more of like, just in raw numbers and raw watts, like how much power is the inverter itself using. So I'm just going to do kind of like an extended test here. I got 54 watts running, and this is just on my TV. So just got the TV running. This will just go for quite a while. And I'm not going to run it all the way down to 0%, and I'm not starting out at 100% either, right? So we'll kind of just do some math at the end just to kind of get an idea. But yeah, a lot of times you don't want to run like a small load for an extended period of time on on a unit that has a fairly large inverter. So like this 1000 core, it has a 1200 watt inverter, and I've actually tested it and kind of found that it actually can do even quite a lot more than 1200 watts. So it's kind of a nice inverter to have. It can almost power anything, anything you have, anything you can throw at it, right? So, but the question is, can you run small loads on it for an extended period of time? Because that's something you might want to do a lot often as well, right? So yeah, this is just going to be a quick test, just to kind of see what kind of numbers we get, right? Alright, just wrapping up this test. We just hit 6 hours. Let's look and see what we got here. And it actually just hit 20% as well, so this is perfect. Because as you know, I don't want to run this thing all the way down to 0%. This is a real-world test. So we didn't start at 100%. We're not going to run it down to 0% because we're just going to kind of use this just like you would typically use, right? This isn't necessarily like a perfect test to get the exact number, but we're just trying to get like an idea of what this thing is doing, right? So as I mentioned before, the TV's been outputting around 50 watts. Sometimes it's gone up above 60, and sometimes it's been more closer to 40. But yeah, so it's been 6 hours. And let's just even say it was doing 60 watts. So 6 times 60 would be like 360 watt hours, and on 1000 watt hour battery, right, that would be about 36%. And as you can see, we used actually almost 60%, right? So yeah, just not the greatest idea to run a small load for an extended period of time on a large inverter, right? It's just basically the whole point of this video. And yeah, so maybe I'll kind of do a similar test to this on a smaller inverter. I really like the inverter on my Bluetti AC50S, which is a 300 watt inverter, and or even my little Jackery could do that as well, right? The 200 watt. So yeah, but if all you got is one power station, this is still definitely an option, right? You're just not going to get as much. The efficiency is not going to be as good, right? But with a bigger battery, the other advantage is this has a bigger battery, right? So you're still going to get a decent amount of runtime. So yeah, a solid 6 hours powering this TV, and about 60%, almost not even 60% of the battery was used, right? So you could still go on to some power, some other things with this, right? So yeah, just hopefully you found this test interesting. And I know I always find these tests interesting just to kind of see like what's going on with the efficiency of these things, right? And it's kind of like being a real world test. It kind of gives you a better idea than just doing like a high load AC test for an hour and just kind of seeing what that does, because you might not necessarily use it just 1 hour at a time, right? So yeah, so hopefully you found this interesting or helpful. And yeah, thanks for watching.